Hi, and welcome to Ally's training on expense reports, the how, when, and why. In this training, you'll learn the reasons to use an expense report, when and how to submit an expense report, information required on a complete expense report, along with a step-by-step example. Expense reports are used to capture expenses paid with a company credit card and/or any other business-related expenses requiring reimbursement. Expense reports are due weekly if you have made any business-related transactions, whether with your company credit card or with your personal funds. These complete reports, including copies of receipts, are due to the corporate office by 5 p.m. Mountain Time on Tuesdays. Email these reports to operations@allyonsite.com. If your report is accepted and a reimbursement is required, a direct deposit will be made on Friday into your bank account. Failure to report company credit card expenses will result in company credit card suspension. We're now going to go over the sections of an expense report. The first section is the header. This header is located right here. The header includes your name, branch, and the date through. The next section is the travel expenses section. This section is located right here. This section is used to record airfare, baggage fees, taxi, parking, tolls, meals, rental cars, and any other expenses associated with traveling. The next section is business meeting and entertainment expenses section. This is located right here. This section includes expenses associated with business meetings or entertainment. The job supply and other expenses section is located right here. This section includes job supplies, office supplies, and any other expenses that do not fall within another section. The next section is the personal vehicle reimbursement section. This is located right here. This is used to record mileage driven in a personal vehicle for business expenses. Ally will reimburse you the federal mandated amount. The next section is the signature and approval box section. This section is located right here. This is used for you to sign and date, as well as your manager to sign and date. The next section is the total amounts paid by credit card or reimbursable section. This section is located right here. This section is automatically calculated, so there is nothing for you to fill in here. The total amount column includes every expense that you have recorded on this expense report. The employee paid column includes any amounts that you have put into the employee paid column, which indicates that you used your personal funds for this expense and you will be reimbursed. The company paid column includes all expenses that you used your company credit card for. For example, let's say that you spent $200 on airfare. When you enter it right here, the total amount calculates right here. In the company paid column, it automatically will default to a company credit card expense. However, if you had paid with your personal expenses, you would include that amount in the employee paid column. As you can see, doing so takes it out of the company paid column, includes it in the total amount due to employee right here, the $200. That is what will be reimbursed to you on Fridays. I'm going to delete these for our example purposes. Next, we're going to go over what is in a complete report. A complete report must include your name, your main branch, which can be either CAT, Denver, ER, Houston, Office, OFS East, OFS West, Orlando, or Tally East. It must also include the dates for each transaction. Each transaction must be recorded in the appropriate section, along with accurate coding and description information. The receipt for each transaction must be included. Handwritten receipts will not be accepted. And the employee signature and approval from supervisor section must be filled out. This approval may be in the form of a signature, manual or digital, or an email confirmation attached to the report from your supervisor. If a report is not complete, it will be returned for resubmission. I'm going to go over a real-life example. We'll take a look at an Ally expense report template. The first section that must be included is your name. The next section is the branch. What we're looking for here is the main branch that you operate out of. Mine is Office. The date through is the last date of the receipt on this expense report. For me, it's July 1st. Next, we're going to take a look at the receipts that I've already scanned in. They are right here. We will accept scanned copies or photoed copies, but they must be included in the same email as your expense report. My first receipt is located right here. It was from King Soopers for $51.68 and was for office supplies. I am going to include that in the job supply and other expense section right here. The date of this transaction was 6/25. The branch that I used this for was Office. The job number, I don't have one because this was not job related, but if you do know the job number or the description of the job you're working on, you can include that here. The resource in GL, what we're looking for here is the general ledger code that we're going to code it to in the accounting system. If you do not know this code, please put a very brief description of what you purchased this for. Mine was office supplies. The vendor was King Soopers. The description of the expense was office supplies. And the total amount was $51.68. I paid this with my company credit card, therefore I'm going to leave the employee paid column blank. My next receipt is right here. It was again from King Soopers for $37.58, and it was for office supplies. This was on June 28th. It was for office. It was for office supplies. The vendor was King Soopers. It was for office supplies. And the total amount was $37.58. Again, I used my company credit card, and I'm going to leave employee paid blank. My last receipt is right here. It is also from King Soopers for $5.32 and was again for office supplies. This was done on 7/1. It was for the office. It was for office supplies. The vendor was King Soopers. The description was office supplies, and the amount was $5.32. Those are all of the receipts I have to record on this expense report. The total in this section was $94.58. When we go up to the totaling section, as you can see, the total amount was $94.58. Because I used my company credit card for all of these expenses, the employee paid is $0, and the company paid is $94.58. At this point, I'm going to sign my name in the section under employee signature, And I would then save this. You can save it as anything you'd like. I'm just going to save it on my desktop as N. Schrott expense report. At this point, I would email this expense report along with my receipts to my manager and ask for his approval. He can either sign it in this box or he can send an email saying that he approves the expense report. For this example, I'm going to have him sign in here. He will then send this back to me. I will save this again, and now I'm ready to submit to operations. I'm going to open an email and send it to operations@allyonsite.com. I'm going to name it expense report, and I'm going to attach the expense report that I just created and is signed, as well as my scanned receipts. I'm going to send this on, and I have now submitted my expense report. In conclusion, in this training you should have learned that expense reports are used to record business transactions. Expense reports must be submitted weekly if business transactions have been made on a company credit card or a reimbursement is required, and that they must be turned in by 5 p.m. Mountain Time on Tuesdays. You send these complete reports and receipts to operations@allyonsite.com. Expense reports must be complete in order to be processed. Incomplete expense reports will be sent back for resubmission. If you have any questions regarding expense reports, please contact the corporate office. Thank you very much.